So, you ready for another crazy one? This is becoming a trend now, guys. The real tradwives of 2022. Why more young moms are becoming traditional housewives. So this is turning into a caricature of essentially, the fembots, where they've radicalized the feminist movement and they've become a caricature of themselves, right? They've moved far beyond the initial stated goals. Now, there's a bit of a pendulum swing where they've dressed up trad wives as this like 1950s perfection. Look at this, look at this. It's a picture perfect look, a take on the 1950s. Tyler Thompson, thank you for the 20, brother. I thoroughly enjoy your content, helping men be able to run up the score. Respect. Thank you so much for tuning in, man, and the support. It means a lot. It really does. You guys have no idea. YouTube likes to mess with us. All your guys' support on locals, all the super chats, all this coming from you guys is just, it's incredible. It's helping continue the message, seriously. Like from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Tradwives are women who celebrate a return to the traditional gender roles of the 1950s. And they want you to celebrate too. If you're a mom on Instagram, or really any person on Instagram, it's almost guaranteed you've scrolled past a few extremely content-looking women who resemble something out of Pleasantville, but in color and in the 21st century. They're toting a few kids, maybe baking, tablescaping, sewing, and simply flaunting their contented marriages. Some pink hair is exploding. Her head just exploded at the thought of that. These women who you might have stumbled across via social media could be tradwives. The term is a portmanteau of words, you guessed it, traditional and wives, and they don't live online. These are real women who seem to have traveled through time and has revisited the 50s and brought some elements of that era into the present day. They're a subculture of housewives, and they're really, emphasis on really, proud to be homemakers. The world became familiar with tradwives because many of them celebrate their values with the world at large through social media channels like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. They create communities through hashtags like tradwife and use these channels to provide tips, tricks, and explainers about their lifestyle. So here's the craziness about this look. They're dressing up, all looking traditional to the extreme, 1950s, picturesque. They've made it seems like they're making a joke of it, but no, this is really what they're doing. This is the pendulum swinging to the max. You don't have to dress like this to be traditional, okay? You don't have to bring back the 50s look. Calm down. This is idolizing an era that's long gone. We can do healthy traditional relationships in the modern world without looking like we're coming out of a fucking 50s infomercial. And you're taking pictures on Instagram. Look at this. It's like a modern woman mixed with traditional woman. And by the way, if you've ever seen these so-called trad wives posting on TikTok, ones like this that are happy, have babies, cooking, whatever, they get absolutely shit on in the comments. Do you know how bad it is? They're called pick-me's. They're called slaves. They said they're under the thumb of their men. They're being used. You're going to have nothing. You should have got a career. You should have got a job. He's going to leave you. He's going to cheat on you. They attack women. Women are attacking women far more. The comment section is full of, like, for the men that comment, they're all simping, hardcore. I wish I had that. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, the picture perfect lifestyle. That's what I dream of. And yes, it's true. Most men do dream of having a traditional partner with a traditional lifestyle. But again, it's like supreme simps that don't deserve any woman and that still try to DM them and hook up with them in the DMs. And then you get these so-called chameleons that, are riding a wave, man. You know how you can get rich off this tradwife shit right now with the dating landscape we have today? You know how fast you could blow up an Instagram channel just pretending to be a tradwife? You could be dressing up like this, taking photo shoots, boys, modern woman activities. Taking photo shoots like this for attention for people on social media. Look at this, how cute. We got a 1950s photo shoot. The real tradwives aren't on social media. I can guarantee that. The real tradwives are at home taking care of their families, not documenting this shit for the world. Here's her reason for aprons. Let's read the horseshit. Why aprons? I believe it represents something absent in today's culture. Recondition that femininity is sacred, mystical, honorable, and worth of protection. That's what aprons represent? Fuck, man, that's a reach. Aprons are not about the kitchen as much as they're about biological function of the woman. Do you see what I mean? This is selling snake oil. There's a huge demand for traditional women in the West. Massive, man. And there's a ton of monetary gain. A monetary gain that could be had from going in this direction. You could be an ex-OnlyFans chick turned trad wife and you're going to strike it big. I'm telling you, this is the new wave. Watch, give it 5 years. This is going to be the new thing that they're grifting on. You see it specifically in my cultural heritage, in pre-revolutionary Russian attire. Here's the apron. Was most embroidered, the most intricate piece of a married woman's costume, often adorned heaviest around the womb. The purpose of embroidery or other decoration was spiritual protection. That's why it would normally find place on the borders of garments and on the edges of sleeves, the neck. The notion of decorative border, blah, 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 blah. The purpose of the traditional apron adorned with mindful ornaments was recondition of just how sacred what's underneath is. A body programmed, though not always able or willing, to reproduce life. A body that historically will often not survive it. What are you talking about? Historically will not often survive it? Come on, man. Now we're spitting a lot of horseshit here. Oh, and here we go. We talked about the grifting, right? I made aprons not only a part of my style, but hand making them my little business. So she has an incentive to sell her aprons. You see how quick you can spot the money ploy here? You got a blonde that's going to dress in her aprons. She's selling an image. She's selling a lifestyle. She's not selling tradition. This is a joke, dude. This is a joke. The same way we dunk on the radical leftists that have taken the womanist movements far beyond its initial goals, now we're going to go into the far right, taking traditionalism far beyond its original goals. It's a costume now to be sold to men and women everywhere. You know how you're going to spot your trad wife? If she's wearing an apron in the house when she comes over and she cooks. Your girlfriend wearing this apron, bro, totally means you should marry her. You found the one. The fuck? It's hard to say when exactly this trend exploded, when money was heavily pushed through it. Though it's safe to say that the rise of social media has allowed it to grow exponentially. Yes, there's millions of thirsty, simpish men that absolutely would love the ideal of a traditional lifestyle, and they will pay big bucks for the dream to keep being peddled in their very face. This is keeping men hopeful in the West that it is possible, guys. That this traditional apron wearing woman exists somewhere, somehow. And if you could just get her attention with a couple of dollars or buying some aprons, you might have a chance at her. The fuck? Before Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube were all available at your fingertips 24 hours a day, it took more time for political or cultural movements to spread. Now, a teenage girl in Ohio can stumble upon a photo carousel offering series of housekeeping tips from a trad wife in the UK. And all of a sudden, it's a future she envisions for herself. My God. Very Cherry, thank you so much for the 20. After listening to your message the past year, I've been working on self-improvement and it's changed my life. Thank you for opening my eyes to reality. Man, I'm just humbled that that could be a reality for you. Seriously, I see a bunch of numbers and names on the screen, guys, but there's people behind those, and I have a hard time connecting like that until I started doing these interviews with you guys on locals and just seeing the difference, reading on the Discord, the Spartan Challenge, how people are getting off medication, how they're losing weight, how their relationships are improving, job prospects improving. Just a simple 6-month challenge, man. So thank you guys. Seriously, this is the stuff that keeps me going. For those that were writing in the chat earlier, why do you keep doing what you do? It's messages like this. It's those real emails that you guys send telling me how much difference watching these videos have made. That's mind-blowing to me. I'll do this forever if that's the case. Seriously. As long as I'm able. As long as I don't get canceled. All right. To Joe Piazza, author and host of a podcast about influencer moms called Under the Influence, the timing makes sense. The world is a disaster right now. No, only the West. Only the West. So the world is a disaster right now in every possible way, and there has been a real trend towards nostalgia because people often find it comforting, she tells KCM. The thing is, this nostalgia for a better time is often obscenely misplaced. I agree with the misplaced part, but also it is an ideal that we're striving for because since then the statistics have gotten worse and worse for relationships, for marriage, for child rearing, for everything. There's a system that we used to have that's far better than the one we currently do, the one we're currently under, and continually progressing towards worse and worse outcomes. We're looking for shit that works. Relationships are in the dirt, man. People have situationships now. What's left of what we're doing? We have sugar daddies and sugar babies. That's it. I'm going to pay you to fly you out and smash and then dash later. And she's over here matching with millionaires on Tinder thinking this is going to be the one, the Prince Charming effect. Oh my God, a doctor's talking to me. Wow, he must really like me. And the guy's only looking at her like, oh, nice rack. Oh, nice ass. Okay, yeah, I'll fly this one out. That's all it's gotten reduced down to. So I want to know what got you into the manosphere. Well, first, let's try not to label us red pillar manosphere because it's guilty by association these days. So we're neither. We're just reporting on the realities of men and what's happening in the world. That's it. But how I got into this kind of content was completely by accident. Me and Sophie were just covering channels that were essentially, we were doing TikToks, really random episodes on Tribe Report in the very beginning. We would have something from like Jordan Peterson randomly, some modern woman shit randomly from TikTok, some woke pink-haired stuff. Episodes had no cohesion, no themes, nothing, dude. It was just reacting to scrolling up on the timeline for TikTok. And whenever it got on modern women, dating and relationships, those episodes started doing really well. The first ones that really blew up was when I was talking about masculinity in the West. Jordan Peterson was covering toxic masculinity and all that. One of those episodes got 100,000 views and it was game over from then. And then we were reacting to a couple of Kevin Samuels videos, got really big, really quick on TikTok. Of course, they came up on our feed. And I started covering other people that I really liked, like Patrice O'Neal. And those very few first episodes, I would say, has a lot of gold nuggets for dating. If you guys haven't seen them, you should go because that's where all the heavy wisdom is. So how I got into it was just literally looking at the analytics and people loving covering the dating and stuff. I had, just the life I lived. I got some experience under my belt in regards to women through college and whatnot. I came from nothing, worked from the bottom up to build myself into somebody. Was just like one of you guys, man. Some of you here reading used to play video games all day just like me. Pimple-faced kid just like me. Introverted just like me. Hated going out. Trust me, I feel your pain. I know what you're talking about. That was me, believe it or not. So I started making some changes. The self-improvement aspect of this is what I'm going to start getting into more and more into the future for this channel. It's going to be about those interviews I do with you guys, improving who you are as men. Brotherhood is a super important one. Finding a tribe of men, meeting up in person. Oh, we have so much planned. Don't worry about it. We're just driving viewership with some of these more insane articles about men and women, but the real gems are soon to come. Maestro, thank you so much for the $20. And welcome to the stream yet again. People who think there are no virgin females in their 20s are stuck in a bubble of the USA. If you're open to interracial, plenty of African countries still have religious culture and bride princess for virgin daughters. Yeah, in the more traditional parts of the world, you're always going to find that. But it's convincing someone to travel and not bringing them back. So a lot of men that have become expats in other countries always recommend you stay there and you live there and you become enthralled in their culture. You get the social sort of reinforcement of the traditional lifestyle. Because once you bring somebody back with you here to the States, they can get poisoned by the modern thinking. And again, the laws are not in your favor here like they would be in those other more traditional cultures. So it's all about relocating, not just, hopping from country to country. Bo, you finally finished a short. Just DM it to me on the Discord, brother. I'll take a look. What's up with the other channels? We're still working on them, guys. We just took a break from Tribe Report because they shadow banned the shit out of us again. They put it in the dirt. And then we still make episodes for Tribecast. We just haven't edited them yet. So don't worry, more are coming. We're supposed to be covering the Red Pill documentary. And we're trying to figure out how to do that without getting, striked. And we're trying to figure out how to cover what is a woman with also not getting striked or banned or shadowed. Sophie has her own channel as well. What do you think of Fresh and Fit? I wasn't the biggest fan in the beginning, but I think what's going on in, quote, the manosphere, just call it to men in general in society today, where having traditional mindsets or views is being demonized and essentially erased digitally. I think it's extremely important that we have channels like that. Any other channel that's talking about men's issues, whether it's relationships, money, self-improvement, whatever, it's super important that we support one another, because in the narrative, the main narrative pusher's eyes, we're all one and the same. So they look at my channel, they look at their channel, they look at somebody else like maybe Hamza that does just self-improvement stuff mostly. We're all the same. We're all lumped up as enemies, and we need to be essentially banned off every platform because we're hate speech. We're enslaving the minds of young men and making them do crazy things in society. So yeah, I think it's important that those guys continue to have success. We don't have to agree on every single thing, and having discourse is healthy. My life experiences are different than theirs. They see things from the lens of Miami chicks and whatnot. I see things from the lens of whatever my perspective is. And like I said, I got nothing but love for them, dude. It's needed now more than ever. Let's continue with this nonsense. Piazza compares it to the sweeping trends in media. We see women who leave big city jobs to work on farms, but completely leave out the bone and soul crushing realities of working as a farmer to make a true living wage. Similarly, we see nostalgia for the 1950s housewife, a la Betty Draper, that ignores the stifling limitations put on women in the 50s, like not being able to get a credit card or having to submit to their husbands without question, Piazza points out. The coverage and criticism of trad wives have been slowly increasing since 2017, a timeline which perhaps not uncoincidentally seems to track with a number of concerning online trends, many of which are founded on conspiracy theories and alt-right ideologies. You see, even if you wanted to do a trad wife lifestyle, pretty baby, look at this. The picture perfect stuff again. You see? We're selling an image, boys. Yeah, but if you're trying to sell this image, you're getting lumped into alt-right and extremist views. Automatically, you're holding women back. This is crazy. What is a trad wife? A trad wife on social media is a type of influencer that espouses a so-called traditional form of being a wife and a mother. She says they usually stay at home and exclusively take care of the children and the home and show off their prowess in the domestic arts. Oh God, what a life. So radical. While they often identify themselves as celebrating a woman's work and role at home, Piazza says it's much more than that. The trad wife tag or label often comes with disparagement of working women and feminist values.
Nope.
Sorry, buddy. But if you actually look into all the trad wife posts, it's the so-called femme women and the working women that shit on them the hardest. Sellouts, internalized misogyny, slaves. You're dependent on a man. How could you? You set us back 50 years. It's all there. You can read it. Those within the movement have a very different opinion. A self-proclaimed trad wife, Elena Petit, defines the term on her own website, the Darling Academy. We're making money off this, boys, which aims to provide education on proper British etiquette. A trad wife is not subservient, Petit writes. Though a traditional housewife may submit to her husband, she is not considered of lesser importance to him or allow herself to be in a position that threatens her rights. A traditional housewife chooses her husband based on his ability to care for people, provide for their children, and most importantly, upon his integrity and values. That's true. That's actually true. I agree with that. Petit told the BBC that her role is submitting to and spoiling her husband like it's 1959. Perfect. If that's really what's going on, I can't fault her. Perfect. Make your money. Sell the dream. Most women can't live the true trad wife lifestyle, the traditional lifestyle of waking up early, getting food ready for your man before he heads off to work, getting the kids ready for school, dressed, everything clean. The house has to be spotless. Take care of the home. Make the house into a home. When the husband comes home, dinner is ready. The air smells like freshly cooked food. And I'm not talking about some boxed shit that you read the directions for and let the microwave do the job. I mean, kneading dough with your fucking hands, making bread from scratch, making batter, all this stuff, everything, cooking bread, baking, all this from scratch. That's not easy, boys. My mother, traditional woman. My grandmother, traditional woman. We're Romanian, ethnically speaking. Lived in Romania, born there. These women worked hard. Being a homemaker is not easy. It's not lounging by the pool with a fucking margarita that some of these so-called trad wives think it is. A lot of these women think it's just, oh, my man takes care of me. I don't have to do anything anymore. Life's on easy mode. He pays for everything. That's not what this shit is about. It's about coming together with two different skill sets and making the best out of it to get ahead in life and building a legacy together. Can't talk about that part though. Scroll through the tradwife hashtag and you'll quickly see Petit's words come to life. Your feed will be flooded with images of smiling women, frilly aprons, and optimistic quotes in cursive about the joys of homemaking. Yeah, women do enjoy it. This isn't not only is this a dream, right? And they are selling it really hard, but it is real. Women do love this lifestyle. They do crave it. They want to be homemakers. They want to decorate the home. They want to make their men happy. Women get joy from cooking for they used to, but women got joy from cooking for their men and putting a smile on his face and seeing an empty plate. That was very fulfilling. Feeding your own kids, seeing your family eat healthy food. If you come home and your woman had to order takeout, trash. Garbage. What kind of relationship is that? You bust your ass so you can come home to takeout, bro, because I got my nails done and I'm sorry, babe, I didn't make it in time because the hair appointment ran late. The fuck? That's a relationship. No thanks, bro. I'm not breaking my back at work to come home to boxed meals because you can get your nails done on time. That's a real, it's a real possibility for a lot of men these days because this is what, quote, traditional women these days assume tradition means. Oh, it's a page called Femininity and Faith. For as long as I can remember, all I ever wanted was to be a mom and a wife. That's true. When I entered my teen years, that goal suddenly wasn't good enough for the people around me. I even had someone tell me that I need to go to college even if I wanted to be a stay-at-home and take sewing classes and cooking classes. How ridiculous. I held strong to the calling and desire to be a stay-at-home wife and mother. Don't do any of the normal college prep in high school as I had no desire or need to go to college. Excuse me. God brought my husband to me when I was 17. What? Listen, that's not common. So again, it's an exception to the rule. Giving this advice to women in mass is not going to end up with a lot of good outcomes. There simply isn't enough good men for this lifestyle to be led. And the economics of today, boys, how easy do you think it is to keep your woman at home while you're working on your job in your wages today? affording a house, white picket fence, 2 cars, all that shit. No, bro, that's not the reality. It's hard as hell to feed yourself today. Most people are priced out of the market when it comes to home buying. Shit. Again, we're idolizing a picture perfect version of this lifestyle that's not rooted in the reality we have today, man. So God brought her husband to her when she was 17. Of course, we waited a few years to get married. Honestly, something I would change if I could was really no reason to wait after I turned 18. And while I have to work a few times, I'm so thankful now that I'm able to stay at home, be a homemaker, and homeschool, and having the experience of working has made me even more thankful to be at home. This is great for those that make it. But the harsh reality is, for a young woman, 17 years old, that doesn't know what she wants to do in life, and a boy, 19, I'm guessing, marriage and finding your partner is not what's in the tricks. It's not what's in the bag of tricks for you in your life. And the statistics with the divorce rates, whatever, we don't know if this is truly going to be successful or not. I don't know how old this lady is. Just an account with a picture. We don't know. 10 years from now, 15 years from now. 17, bro? You're a kid. The hell do you know at 17? I was an idiot at 17. I was an idiot at 18. Shit, I was an idiot at 25. This is crazy. I'm still an idiot. Always learning. Critics of trad wives argue that the lifestyle is a gateway to sexism and even alt-right ideologies. Here we go. As with any trend, there's no one-size-fits-all description for every woman who identifies as a trad wife. Here we go. With that said, it's hard to see why those who cover the movement often point out that these women are celebrating regressive beliefs in women's rights. Here you go. You've internalized misogyny. And argue that the trend is decidedly anti-feminist. There we go, man. It's our way or the highway. If you want to be a trad wife, whether you believe in this shit or not, that's against the narrative. Garbage. It's reasonable to argue that a strictly traditional housewife is one who lives in the service of her family and or husband. It says, for political research associates, Marielle Cooksey, a religion, politics, and conflict MA graduate, defined trad wifery as encouraging women to embrace supposedly, this is a wokey that's angry, supposedly feminine characteristics like chastity and submissiveness, and trade feminist empowerment for a patriarchal version of gender norms, and accepting that women shouldn't work, shouldn't have the right to vote, and shouldn't fully submit to their husbands and their fate to live a happy life of homemaking. Nobody said being a traditional housewife has anything to do with not having the right to vote. Do you see how they co-inflate the most insane shit to throw dirt on tradition? This is all they have, man. So these women that are traditional all of a sudden don't want the right to vote, should be slaves to their husbands, and live a happy life of being a little homemaker. Do you see how they co-inflate? Apparently they don't want to vote again. Take the vote away. These women that want to be trad wives, take their vote away. Of course, someone who majored in religion, politics, and conflict. That's the graduate that's telling us how to live our lives. Oh, yeah. But that's not the only reason trad wives get flack online. And who do they get flack from? Pink hairs. Mostly. It's not weakness, it's biology. It's not your feelings. It's about historical fact. As women, we are wise enough to know that without male leadership and protection, if all men in our country suddenly vanished, we would be left vulnerable and exposed. Strong women realize this and follow suit. Male masculinity and leadership should not be seen as toxic. And if it is, then choose a better partner. Perfect. What else do you need to say on there? She encapsulated the truth. But again, that'll get you canceled very soon. If a man said that, you're getting canceled, boys. You're a misogynist. Misogyny. In fact, the concern goes even deeper than boilerplate issues around gender equality. Some experts are actually sounding the alarm about how this movement might be slowly transforming into something far more radical and potentially dangerous. Yes, tradwives are super dangerous. They're going to destabilize society. Watch out. Bruh. Christy Campione, a specialist in extremist groups. Oh my God. Spoke to ABC News Australia about why some experts find the tradwives phenomenon to be particularly concerning, most notably for its crossover with some volatile far-right ideologies. You see how they lump them in? They're lumping them in. One of the key concerns with the tradwife movement when it's affiliated with the far right is that it provides a soft face for saying quite extreme things, quite dangerous things, things that are quite divisive and that demonize parts of our own society. You mean like, I like to serve my husband? I like my man to lead me? I love to raise my children in my own home. I don't want to work for some greedy, faceless corporation. How do you dare say such things? Cooksey explained that this connection, while not all tradwives associate with white supremacist politics, and not all are Christian fundamentalists. What about the rest of the world that espouses these ideals? Go to Latin America, go to Asia, go to Africa. They're all living like this. And the vast majority of those countries, are they white supremacists? Make it make sense. Please. The movement offers an elegant solution for women seeking acceptance in white nationalist factions. You see the woke speak from these so-called college graduates? Some popular tradwife influencers are explicit in their connection to the far-right ideas, using their platforms to disseminate white supremacist propaganda. What? This is the world we're in. Working out is white supremacy. Remember that article we covered? If you go to an MMA gym, it's a bastion for white supremacy. If you all of a sudden become a tradwife, it's white supremacy. It's essentially racism in some form or another to have a traditional family unit, to have a nuclear family intact. Why are they trying so hard to destroy the nuclear family? Why are they trying so hard to keep men and women separated? Do you think there's a financial incentive behind all this, boys? Do you think if we keep people broken, isolated from one another, hating one another, we could profit off of it? We can get them to buy a bunch of shit they don't need to make them feel happy for their meager lives when they're so isolated and have nothing to live for? That way they place their value in material possessions. Is that not materialism? Do we not live under corporate, basically companies rule the world, right? Corporations fund campaigns, dark pool money, all that stuff. Corporatism, come on. We're in the consumerism lifestyle. Corporations need to make money. You need to consume. You need to buy things. You need to place your value in materials, in possessions. What a perfect sort of little world to build, where cradle to the grave, you're spending money to chase happiness you don't have because you've been scared of the opposite gender, because of what has happened in the culture to separate us from one another. You know what they fear? A strong woman and a strong man coming together, creating a family, and issuing change in the community. Essentially, you build small humans that are resistant to propaganda, that stand for values, that have morals, that are upstanding citizens that would love to change the world around them for a better place. Can't have that. Can't have that now, can you? What you can have is somebody who has no self-esteem and needs to buy a red bottom shoes, like say a woman, or a purse to feel better about herself, to think she has values. What you need is to tell a man that he's not worth shit unless he's making a certain amount of money, or buy a Porsche, bro. Buy this, buy that. That'll show you what a man you are. The bots are back. Who else wants to be was hidden? I need more mods in here, huh? To catch that. You're working overtime, Logic. Careful. I need to get more bots for the stream. All right, let's continue with this insane article. It's not that hard to stumble upon these controversial concepts if you spend enough time scrolling through posts on social media under the Tribeofmen hashtag. And as you would expect, some of these far-right comments and behaviors are more obvious than others. In 2017, a woman with a Tribeofmen Instagram account even set up a white baby challenge, citing the failing birth rates of white babies and encouraging other white people to procreate. Per the New York Times, the account titled Wife with a Purpose wrote in the caption, "I made 6, match or beat me." Oh boy, that set some people off. What the hell? This challenge has since been scrubbed from the internet. Now, will they take that same challenge to other people doing the same thing from other cultures? I think not. Tradwives claim their lifestyle is about paying homage to a slower, more intentional lifestyle. In response to the rising interest in and ensuing criticism of the topic in recent years, many self-proclaimed tradwives have taken to social media accounts to defend their lifestyle choice. Some have even engaged in interviews with the media in order to set the record straight. One tradwife, Laura, spoke to ABC News Australia about why she initially connected with the tradwives movement. I was resentful every time I had to leave the house and leave my son in someone else's care, even if it was family, she said. So by the time we had our second child, I knew that I wanted to be at home with them full time. Laura's work as a tradwife includes cooking, cleaning, sewing clothes, tending to her family's vegetable garden, and more. Oh, the horror, boys. Oh my God. She noted that she did not align with some of the racist ideologies that other tradwives possess, but that she did not have a problem with the feminist movement as it stands today. "I do not consider myself a feminist," she said. "I think the very basic idea of feminism, equal rights for women, is great, but it's very tainted. And it's very toxic. And even from the beginning, feminism was flawed." As for Petit, the founder of Darling Academy, she gave an interview to BBC recently in which she argued against the criticisms leveled at the tradwife movement. Can we watch this?
Hello and welcome back to the Darling Academy. My name is Alina Kate Pettit and I talk about etiquette, feminine lifestyle, homemaking and being a traditional housewife. I wouldn't kind of expect my husband to come home from a long day's work and have to cook for me, because my role is being at home. My job is essentially housework.
I hope it's not copyright. Susan will take us down.
So I choose what we eat, where I buy it, how much I spend on things, and so that's a monthly allowance, if you want to give it that kind of phrase. There's always a bit of a buffer in there for me to spend something on myself, so that I'm not always asking him for money.
Says, "Hey Bo, can you talk about Melanie King getting exposed for being a modern woman?" She had a breakdown, right? This is the woman that was friends with Kevin Samuels. And during his passing, her channel had exploded for covering said event. And then somebody questioned her on something. Is that right? She got questioned on something about Kevin and completely lost her cool during the live stream and turned into somebody different. A lot of people didn't like that, huh? No comments. I mean, I don't know what to say. I got to watch the full video and I got to see, but I'm assuming she didn't go to his funeral. I don't know. Somebody wrote that she didn't go to his funeral. Is that what they said in the video? Hard to say. I have to dig a little deeper before I can give my opinion on it. But it sure didn't look good. Snapping at whoever the call-in guest was. Remember the Jersey Shore GTL lifestyle? I guess that's far right now. I was in to be fit and good looking. Matt Baker, thank you so much for the 10. Yeah, Jersey Shore would not last today. They'd all be called misogynists. Everybody would be screaming their ass off. All these guys, they're predators, womanizers. They go out there and just get laid. Oh, so they have it literally on Urban Dictionary, short for traditional wife, used in alt-right circles to refer to women that embody traditionally feminine and wifely qualities. Submissiveness, chastity, willingness to probably blah, blah, blah. Interesting. You're automatically alt-right just for being traditional. Wow.
With the trad wife movement, a lot of people want to label you as something, something that you might not have even thought of. Someone even said about this type of housewife was promoted by the Third Reich.
What?
And it's like, was it really? I didn't even know that.
From your website, it looks very much about British etiquette. So how much is to do with the British element of things?
So it's almost harnessing the best of what made Britain kind of great during that time where you could leave your front door open and know that you were safe and you knew your neighbours in the street. And we can have that again. I mean, times are changing so fast and we don't even know the identity of our country right now. When I was at school, I don't think I was particularly a popular girl. The culture at the time was anything but what I enjoyed, and it definitely made me feel like an outsider. It was all kind of like, let's fight the boys and go out and be independent and break glass ceilings. But I just felt like I was born to be a mother and a wife. What I really related to were the old shows of kind of like the 1950s and 60s, I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched. I grew up in a single parent household and my mum had to go out to work. The home became just this huge burden for her, and I suppose that.
And you see, these are some of the huge proponents for this lifestyle. When you're in a single parent household and you have to watch your mother struggling to work and to take care of you, and you're a kid in that scenario, it does affect you tremendously in life going forward. The outcomes for kids that don't have a father present in the household is the worst. Literally bottom of the barrel. They're most to go to jail. They're most to end up hooked to drugs, mental illness, end up homeless by like 70 to 90% compared to a two-parent household. The outcomes for children are not good when the father is not present. And the womanist movement will push that it's better to be a boss babe, strong, independent queen, don't need no man, I can do it all on myself. But the children tell a different story that were raised by boss babes. The children that had to see their mother struggle while they grit their teeth and pretend they didn't need a man have been forever altered by that movement. And yes, you don't think there's going to be an avalanche, a wave that swings back after seeing and living in that traumatic childhood? Come on, man. Ask somebody that had to grow up without a father, where they saw their mother struggling to pay the bills, struggling to take care of the kid. It's a joke, dude. Only in the West do we think it's okay to be in a single parent household and we actively push it like it's something to be revered. No, we do not celebrate single mothers. No, it's not good for the children, period. I don't care if that gets you canceled. That's stupid. The children's well-being is far more important than yours. When you become a parent, it's about the kids. You shouldn't be putting on your fucking makeup to go get passed around by God knows who at clubs. Sit your ass at home and watch your kids.
Point in time, I probably identified that I didn't want that same life. The rebellion really came when I met my husband. And he being very traditional as well, I think he just identified that. He said, I know that you want a man to look after you and to make you feel secure. And he offered himself as that person. And as soon as that happened, I just was like, finally someone sees it, finally I can be myself. I don't have to hide who I am anymore. It's almost like the fairy tale came true. My early 20s, I was the typical career girl. You know, I went to London, I was working long hours because the advice that was coming at me from the media at the time, shows like Sex and the City, apparently it's
there it is.
And liberating, and you know, I should be in touch with my sexual side. We've got the real housewives that you see, and they're, you know, ridiculously wealthy, don't even have to do their own cleaning, and their lives are pretty much a mess. Or the ones popularised in soap operas where they're nagging and miserable and everybody's cheating on each other. And you know, I joined social media and I realised quite quickly there was almost like an underground movement of other women who felt the same. People crave that sense of belonging and home and quaintness and all the traditional aspects.
It's growing. And this is the pendulum swinging back towards traditionalism, where we've radicalized so far into the progressive movement. I told you guys. And there's going to be grifters, unfortunately, that take advantage of this. See, it's like how every movement starts. In the beginning, it's the hardcore supporters that are really about that lifestyle. It gains traction to the masses. And then morons from the masses see an opportunity to grift. And so they get in during the movement as it's growing and goes mainstream. And ta-da, you're going to have people that are just pretending to be tradwives to monetize the shit out of this lifestyle. That's the unfortunate part.
Upon them, and you know, that we're throwing it back in their face that they fought for equality in the workplace.
We say to femmes, thanks for the trousers, but we see a life in a different way. Not just the, look at this, it says, not just the trousers, dear, the bank account in your own name, your voting rights, and outlawing your husband, R-word, and beating you, to name just a few things. Do you see how they go to the extremes?
My view of feminism is about choices, and to say on one hand you can go into the working world and compete with men, yet you're not allowed to stay home, that's actually taking a choice away. I have been posting, you know, for the last month on YouTube, and I did post a video 4 days ago, which was, I shared my 5 reasons as to why I love being a traditional housewife. And the response, I haven't been able to keep up with it. Like, it's been overwhelmingly positive. I think the whole thing about a trad wife is you invest in your husband and you invest in your family and you inspire them to be the best people that they can. So it's a very selfless thing to do. So I would say the opposite of that is someone who's inherently selfish and, you know, just takes.
Yeah, to support your husband and nurture and grow your own children, it's an alt-right movement. It's extremist thinking. It's setting women back. Of course it is. And the closing statement of this article, will the trend continue to grow? There's an argument to be made here that petite and women in the tradwife community like her are returning to the 50s, not because they think it was genuinely better, but because the modern world has failed them. Today, women are frequently expected to have a full-time job and also handle the lion's share of housework and childcare. In America, a country with abysmal paid parental leave policies and a collapsing and expensive childcare system, we might just see a resurgence of tradwives who are looking for a change. Cooksey addressed this argument along with how it might explain why Gen Z girls find the tradwife movement to be appealing. We are now in the 4th wave of U.S. feminism, a movement progressively more focused on diversity, intersectionalism, queerness, and openness about sexual violence and assault than earlier waves, Cooksey wrote. But for all these positive steps, many women have been failed by the compromises of modern feminism and late-stage capitalism, unable to find a workable solution for the quandary of work-life balance. Gen Z girls have watched their working mothers lean into unequal workplaces only to earn less money in a capitalist system that also devalues their domestic workload. It's hard, man. You can't be a career woman and also be a traditional housewife. Those two don't work together. The amount of time needed to be effective at one or the other doesn't allow you to do both in any efficient manner. One has to suffer in order for the other one to work. It is what it is. You can't have your cake and eat it too.